you're very awake in what you do. I don't know if I'm consciously awake yet, but tell us, how can we know that we're consciously awake?
Oh, well, first let me say that I believe that we go in and out of it, and I don't know anyone that's perfect that's staying conscious all the time. But you're conscious whenever you're paying attention to where you're going, especially in your life and your relationship. You're aware of aspects of your life that aren't working, which would be your thoughts, your beliefs, and also our reactions to events that happen. And so you have the opportunity to be present in that moment and take a look at that without a trigger or an emotional attachment, and then look at it and use that to grow.
That sounds like it takes a lot of maturity to be in the moment yet not be triggered. How do you do that?
How do you do that? Well, for me, it was a process over the past 20 years. It's about catching it, and that can be difficult at times, but sometimes we catch it, sometimes it's after the fact. But what I find works is to write it down, to journal. A lot of things come up when we journal. And so it gives us an opportunity to see what might be going on in the back of our mind when we write things down. And then we can take a break from that if we're triggered, and then come back and look at it when we're not so triggered.
Interesting. Now, would you say consciousness is needed in relationships?
I would say that if you want to have a conscious relationship, it's necessary to know your intention in the relationship and to focus on your intention and work towards that. And it does take effort.
What is a conscious relationship? I mean, I don't know if I've heard of that term before. What's a conscious relationship mean to you?
So, well, conscious couples love to deepen the relationship, and they're focused on growth, their individual growth as well as the growth of the relationship and the health of the relationship. And so the difference would be that they focus on taking opportunities to grow, looking at them and use them as a stepping stone to deepen their relationship. And by deepening the relationship, they can move through the relationship more lovingly.
So, how important is it for, I guess, both individuals within the relationship to be, I wouldn't say they're going to be conscious. Can they be conscious at the same time? Is that rare that they're conscious at the same time in the relationship?
Absolutely, but not always. Sometimes one's more conscious than the other. And sometimes one person grows and the other one's not so excited about personal growth. And so I just say, you stay in your own lane, you do your own personal growth, and you will watch your relationship transform. Now, that doesn't mean that the relationship will transform the way you want it to, but if you do your own personal work and you stay conscious within that relationship, you will notice some transformation.
Okay. I like that. I like where you're going with that. I guess it's important to have that fulfilling, that longing, that desire for consciousness in the relationship. But would you say it's important to have that intimacy? Do you think consciousness is connected to being intimate in the relationship? And not even just physically, but just on an emotional level, would you say that intimacy and consciousness is connected?
I find that the more conscious you are, the deeper your intimacy will go. You can have intimacy without being conscious. There's a lot of people that do. But in my own experience, the more conscious you become, the more intimate you become. And as you said, that's not always physical, but it increases the desire as well.
So, how do you think it helps us get through difficult periods in the relationship? Because, like you say, there's those rare moments where you have both people that are focused on their level of consciousness. Uh, what would you say to that?
I find that hmm, being conscious in a relationship, it's going to bring opportunities for you that you might not have ever thought, dreamt of. It's also going to give you opportunities to grow as a person and become happier. And it's not necessary to be conscious in a relationship because we see a lot of unconscious relationships. But
Yeah.
what I find is with unconscious relationships, you tend to kind of do the same thing over and over again and not really get the results that you're looking for. And with the conscious relationship, you're paying attention. And so you're moving forward, and that's your focus. And so you're more apt to develop healthier skills when you're conscious.
So it's like almost like we're looking for something unique, like a purple elephant or something,
Absolutely.
huh?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not like you see those every day. So I want to ask you something here. We're gonna do one word, if that's okay. If I throw out the word, I want you to tell me what you think of it, okay? You think you're up for it?
You're going to give me one word, and I'm going to tell you what my first thought is.
Yeah, I mean, you can elaborate on it, feel free, but I just want to
Okay, well,
ask
watch
you.
those first words.
So what if I say awareness, what does that mean to you? Awareness.
It means you see your surroundings. You see your surroundings without using the word aware. So you're able to see your surroundings and be present in what's going on at the moment.
I think a lot of people struggle with that. I know I'm going to interrupt my own session here and say I think a lot of people struggle with that. One of the hardest things they say in life is to really just focus on the message that an individual is giving at that time. So awareness is definitely something that we need, right? What about intention?
Intention.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we have unconscious intentions that we don't know
really.
about, and we have conscious intentions. And so, what a conscious relationship is about is paying attention to where your conscious mind wants you to go in the relationship and looking at those unconscious intentions that show up covertly without us even knowing it. And intention, yeah, it's an extraordinarily important part of a relationship.
Okay, I like where you're going. What about question? What do you think of when you hear the word question?
Well, for me, I question my thoughts daily. It's like my meditation in the morning. So,
Yeah.
question your thoughts. If they're painful, they're unproductive, they're non supportive, question your beliefs, the ones you were taught growing up, the ones that society have taught you that they don't sit well with you now. And question your reactions. And every one of us have had reactions that were like, whoa, why did I do that? You
Hmm.
know? And so you
Yeah.
just take the time to question it. Why did I do that? What was going on in my mind?
So do you think that, what would you say if you had to give a percentage, couples actually sit down together and question how their week has gone? I want to see how rare it is because I'm going somewhere with this. Let's just say you had a couple, how rare is it to just sit down week by week and almost just do a feedback session and say, okay, this is where I feel like you improved this week and this is where I feel like you could improve. How rare is that?
Well, I don't know the statistics, but from my experience, around 10 to 15%. And I would love
Really?
for someone to prove me wrong in that and show me a higher number.
Why do you think it's so low? So that's you're saying 85 to 90% of couples. We're just throwing out hypothetics. I'm not holding you down
Mhm.
to a percentage. So don't come for Lisa just because she's saying 85 to 90%. This is her opinion, it's her page, and she can do that. So I'm just saying 85 to 90% roughly are not doing that. Why do you think that's so?
Well, I think, well, I don't think, I know, actually, I know that our subconscious mind starts very early in life. We don't have a conscious mind till we're over 7 years old. And we're programmed by media, by social norms, beliefs from our parents, our grandparents, our experiences. And so our brain gets wired by that. And so as an adult in a relationship, we don't realize that we're being driven by those beliefs. And so that's why it takes courage to sit down and really make the commitment to become conscious in your relationships.
You said something very powerful there. You said commitment. And I want to ask you something. Marriage is a commitment. Would you say, because I feel like if, like for me, I need to know what I stand to lose if I'm going to change my belief system. Because that's really what it seems like we're doing is we're going to
Mhm.
change our belief system. What can I
Mhm.
lose? What can we lose if we don't find ourselves on that path to consciousness?
Well, lose the relationship. You can, you will lose your story, and that may not be a bad thing. Your story may be something that you don't want to keep anymore. So you stand to lose your old beliefs. You stand to lose being right all the time. Your ego might get a little, you know, frustrated because it doesn't get to be right all the time, and it doesn't get to blame and all of that. But you also would gain so much more, and you have a
That,
better chance of making a relationship work if you're conscious.
that's interesting. I was watching the movie Up last night with my youngest daughter. I don't know if you've
Love
seen
that
Up.
movie. Yeah.
It's a very depressing, but I'm going through a grieving process, right? And it
Hmm.
really spoke to me because this guy wanted to hold on, like he physically held on to a house that was hanging over his head pretty much the entire movie. And it was only until these things that were surrounding him were a distraction. He felt like they were a distraction. And so do you think that, and I'm just asking, do you think that sometimes when we are in these relationships, the consciousness or that call, I guess you can call it that call to consciousness can seem like a distraction to that spouse or that individual in that relationship. But how do we convince them that, hey, you know what you had in the past is nothing compared to where we're going now? How do we convince them?
How do we convince our partner?
Yeah, we got to convince them,
Well,
right?
I would say no. I would say no.
Why?
uh, because I feel in my experience over the past 20 something years is that it's better to convince someone with our actions and our shifts in ourself than it is verbally, and to try to get them to come on board with you. You might be able to talk to them and ask them to join you in learning better relationship skills, and if not, then I would say you convince them via your actions, your shifts, your changing.
Wow, Lisa, I thought you were gonna give me some firepower to tell the old wife when she comes home.
No
I guess I don't.
firepower.
I guess I don't get the firepower. So anyway, like it's really fascinating what you do. Now you say you've been doing it for 20 plus years. What's some things that's coming up for you?
Well, I have a couple of summits. One is in January, one is in February. The Relationship Mastery Summit is coming up on February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. What a great way to
Wow.
learn how to, yeah, right? Learn how to
Yeah,
enrich your
yeah,
relationship. So,
yeah.
yeah, and you go to relationshipmastersummit.com to purchase tickets for those.
Awesome. And so as far as like we'll share this and all that good stuff, how can we find more of what you do? We can't get enough of Lisa, right? So how can we find more of this to help us become better in our relationships?
Well, you can Google Lisa Hawkins Dating and Relationship Coach. You can go to my website, which is consciouslyAwakeCounseling.com. I'm on Twitter and Pinterest. Yeah, pretty much everywhere. But yeah, check me out on Facebook. Facebook's a great place.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for having me. Did you have any other thoughts or any final word for us? You got to give us a final word. I need a Lisa weekend word. What's a Lisa Hawkins weekend word? What do we need to think
Weekend
about this
word. How
weekend?
about a Lisa Hawkins holiday gift? So my holiday gift to everyone is about their relationships is to be curious about your partner, because I find that when you're genuinely curious about them, what they're experiencing, what caused them to be upset, what makes them happy, it diffuses a lot of hard feelings, and it creates a joy in a relationship that goes beyond what you can imagine. So curiosity.
Wow, Lisa, that's really good. And you said that with a lot of confidence. Like, look at you. I just want to applaud you. Thank you for having me. This is all
Oh,
about
thank
you.
you. Yeah, and guys, check out Dre. He's an awesome coach.
Hey, you can follow me. You can go to Rethink Confidence. I'm on Facebook, and yeah, I mean, let's connect. If you have any issues with confidence, I'd love to help you. If you want to do things on camera, as you can see, look at Lisa. She's ready for CNN or something right now. She's ready for some more. But this was very good. I think this was very timely.
Oh, you helped
And
me. You helped me a great
yeah,
deal. I'm very grateful.
yeah. All right. So thank you so much for having me, Lisa.
Thank
We'll
you.
be in touch.
Enjoy your weekend.
All right. You all
Okay.
have a good one.